And what is up, guys? Technicals Tinkers here, checking in on our little 3D print operation for today. I'm just a regular guy, 3D printing stuff at home, mostly with the aim of printing stuff that I can sell or turn some kind of profit out of. But also, you know, things along the way, things for the home, hobby prints, or just exhibition sort of prints. And that's what this is, just exhibition. I don't know, I'm learning about 3D printers as I move along. So subscribe to the channel, that'd mean a lot to me. And join me through this process. Maybe you can learn something through my mistakes. Let's see what I got on the plates. All right, so Bamboo, P1P and A1 are currently spooling up for the last, hopefully the last of our prints for the giant life-size Dummy 13. Separate video coming out on that. The rest of the printers are tasked on money stuff. So these are the dab stations that I was mentioning in the previous vlogs. Had some failures. My aim is to burn up spools, like old spools that are kind of like running out. Got them down here. So when a spool runs out, I just put in another color and try to give it this sort of multicolor effect. Got one over here on the Soval, just finished up. So we did like a gray, then a red, then a blue to finish it out. Not too bad. You know, it kind of gives it sort of a multicolor effect, and you know, people like multicolor stuff. Doing the little baby spools over here on Cobra 1 with these little tiny Sunlu 250 gram spools. You know, I had some failure down here on this Cobra number 4. Had the rest of this UJoy biofilament in titanium. And I'm not sure what happened. I think maybe when I put this spool away, it tangled and backwound and kind of got knotted up inside of there because it started extruding into nothing. Hopefully not an extruder problem down here, but similar kind of vibe over here, the gray bottom going into the teal center. So working on those there. And that's right, time for a live plate pull. Let's see if I can swing this. So over here, we had our Saber-tooth tiger skull on the Giga. As a replacement, because we did sell one. You know, camera, can you come up here? Camera doing that thing where it follows my face around, getting everybody seasickness. I gotta figure this damn thing out. Can you tell that AV is not exactly my strong suit? When oddly enough, it's the thing I want to focus on the most. So let's see how it came out. Looks pretty good. This again beefed up the wall loops and the infill. So raised those slightly. Now it's a heavy layer line. It's a 0.5 millimeter layer line. So when you start really looking at it, you know, you can see the layer lines. There's no doubt about it. But overall, I don't think it's too much of an issue given some of the size of these skulls. Yeah, I could do a finer layer line, but I'm not trying to have this thing take like, you know, 3-4 days to print. Lower jaw section looks crispy clean. See how the top came out. All solid, all one big piece. Looking for signs of failure. Came out pretty good. Again, layer liney, but overall not too bad. Supports pop off pretty good. I'm gonna go through and do that smooshing technique where I just kind of heat this up and smoosh it down so it doesn't have those harsh edges. I'm not gonna sand this. I don't get in that far into post-production, but overall, another Saber-tooth tiger skull for the sales bin. Overall, that might be our last print on the Giga until I get back from travel in early February. Because I'm not sure I want anything going on here too much. I gotta leave soon. So I just wanna make sure everything gets to a kind of a stopping point. And again, I've been droning on about it, how I'm banking episodes and traveling and whatnot, but it's just, I don't wanna leave and have like a big gap in content. I wanna make sure content still comes out while I'm away and that I have a buffer when I get back. I don't have to like get a video out the very next day. Because when I get back, I'm not gonna know what to print. I'm gonna be like, what do I do? You know, I'm all gonna be all disoriented and probably in rehab again. So anyway, want to get these things to kind of a stopping place. But on some of the smaller printers, like the Soval, the Cobras, etc., doing those dab stations just to kind of like keep them moving, keep filling orders, keep burning up spools. Because I got a lot of spools left. Got a lot of silks, got a lot of matte, you know, rainbow sort of colors and things like that. A bunch of these little Sunlu spools and whatnot. So just kind of moving my way through those and then maybe just start queuing up what the next big print will be. So all that's in place, let's go ahead into the office and see what else I got. And so for the remainder of the day today, we have our Dummy 13. And as of 30 minutes ago, I was able to mostly finish the life-size model. Just a couple pieces left to print that I shattered. I'd plan to do a dedicated video on it because I feel like there's maybe some more view potential on, you know, I printed a life-size robot versus like, you know, daily vlog, dummy 13 life-size. Maybe people would click it a little more. As an exclusive sneak preview, it has been the biggest pain in the ass that I've ever 3D printed. It was this model was absolutely positively not meant to scale to this size. You know, this, you know, as I say that, well, you know, okay, so these parts pop out and they're meant to snap in and, you know, stay where you put them. Big model doesn't do that. Big model takes an excessive amount of grease, of snipping, of cutting, of melting pieces in order just to barely fit it in. And if you go too far with that, then it doesn't hold the stress, the tension, the friction in the joint, or it just completely shatters. And that's with, like, you know, heavy infill, heavy wall loops, or light infill, light wall loops, heating it up, PET G, PLA, whatever. Just not meant to scale. It's right for a redesign, but I don't know that many people are gonna wanna put the time, effort, energy, and money into printing a life-size dummy 13 because it's approaching about $300 in filament costs to do that life-size dummy 13 versus, you know, this guy, which is probably just, you know, a few bucks. So this certainly cool, but the life-size model, I will, you know, I'm not gonna show it anymore because it's basically done. Got to save it up. Got to, you know, have you coming back for more. But it is impressive, no doubt. All right, and so character models. If you've been a fan of the channel for a while, you know I have a separate Etsy where I sell spicy character models, waifu, you know, dolls, like sexy dolls or whatever. This is one. It's a succubus girl. Her front part is exposed, but the back part isn't. But she's like sitting here. She has these big, impressive wings that come out. I print it in full color. And if you've been a fan of the channel, you know I've done these, you know, basically since the beginning. The girl that designs this lives in like a former Soviet satellite country and does this as like for side income. And so she's gotten all these extra Patreons that have come through my channel, which, you know, she's very grateful for, and I'm grateful you guys, you know, checked her out. So continue to support her if you like, you know, models like this. I've sold one, and, you know, it kind of encouraged me to kind of like keep going, but I moved it off of my main Etsy. It's on its own segmented Etsy to where if people don't want to see things like this, they can just go there. But if I mentioned many episodes ago, the dilemma I was having, sorry, dog was crying. I mentioned several episodes ago that the dilemma I was having was the pricing. So this is a pretty small example. Now I have very large examples, and the one that I did sell was a large example, and I sold it for $130. I have this girl, which is my private collector's edition, which is printed enormous. So at least 2.5 times taller than this. She's got this great big wingspan. I'm not sure I'd ever sell it, and it's got a bunch of problems with it, but, you know, I don't think it would sell because of those kind of imperfections, but it's so large and massive, I'm just gonna keep this one. But my dilemma is that because they take so long, because of the multicolor, I priced them really high. So I have her listed at, I think, like $70-something with their big wings and everything like that. And that's kind of a lot. I think it keeps a lot of people away. And what I noticed on Etsy is that people that sell action figures, figurines, sexy dolls, whatever, like this, what they'll do is they'll sort of mislead the customer, and they'll put a picture of this and they'll put $10. People are like, wow, that's, you know, this full color model for $10, that's a great deal. And they go into it, and then it's an option. Pick your, you know, do you want the full color version? Because then it becomes $80. But that $10 was for a one color print. And people have come into my comments before and said, like, you should just sell the one color version because people like to paint these. And I just always thought it's misleading to charm price things or mislead people into thinking the full color version is gonna be a lot cheaper. But then basically everybody else is doing it. My big thing, I just don't want to deal with customers being upset about it. I just don't want to answer CRMs. That's really my deal. I don't want to talk to people. But finally, you got to me. So I printed a all one color version of it. This is just all white Elegoo Rapid PLA Plus. Doesn't take very long. I think I'm 220 something grams on this. This one is considerably bigger than her. Also did the, you know, her wings, so her wings clip on here. And this is a version that people can paint. And I know that the paintable ones people usually do in resin, but I don't think, I mean, there's some resin printers I know that can get this big, but really not too much bigger, and I can go a lot bigger. I could put this on the Giga in what, maybe that's an idea for when I get back. But I just don't want to paint it. Painting this is just a real bear. Like when you start getting into like the facial features, the eyes, the iris, the teeth, the hair, the ponytail, the chains, all that kind of stuff. Painting all that on here, that's gonna be a nightmare. That's not my idea of a fun Tuesday afternoon. So, you know, I don't know that that's in the cards, but I printed this solid color. I'm gonna do that with the other spicy dolls. And then do that charm pricing thing to where it's like, I'll put in the cost for this, which will be significantly less. And then the picture will be the full color version, and maybe people will come in and buy it because they see that there's a lot more value in the full color version versus this. Just gonna test it out, see how it goes overall. If it doesn't work, this is like 200 something grams, you know, all in like 3, maybe 400 grams. So not a lot. So I'm gonna try that out. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. You know, if you find that to be misleading, I do. You know, I certainly do. But everyone else is doing it, and if everyone else is doing it, then that means that the spotlight isn't necessarily on me, and ultimately that's really all I sort of care about in the pursuit of generating sales. That's what I'm working on today. Let me know what you're working on in the comments below. Be sure to like the video and subscribe for more content like this. I'm the Technicals. See you next time.